Hey guys, welcome to Geek Slider. In this video, we'll be talking about malicious Chrome extensions, and we will be analyzing one of the malicious Chrome extensions and see exactly what it is trying to do. So as you would be very well aware, Chrome Web Store comes in Google Chrome browser. So this is the Chrome extension page, and this is the web store where you can install various types of extensions which can be useful for your daily need purposes. So even I personally use various kinds of extensions. But here, if you see, the issue comes when attackers start to use this particular extensions for their benefit. And one more thing, if an extension which has extra permissions given allowed, so it can even bypass a lot of security web security principles. So we need to be very careful while installing any kind of Chrome web extensions. So even while I'm talking about Google, also Google uses a lot of machine learning algorithms to detect malicious extensions uh, at at various times, and it bans or deletes that extensions. In fact, they have a separate team also, which analyst team which verifies malicious Chrome extensions. So now we will move on to the exact background story of how I came across this particular topic. So as you can see here, we have a lot of extensions which I have installed, but you can ignore all of them. And let us first focus on this one, picture in picture for Chrome. This is an extension which we will be focusing here. So if you see here, usually let me first you might be very well aware that there are a lot of ad blocking extensions available in Google Chrome. So one of them I have installed, and I have enabled it. So whenever the thing, I'll just disable it for now. So whenever we search anything, or even when we open YouTube and all, the ads would be disabled. Ads won't show up. So this saves a lot of time. So what happened is, once, and also one of my habit is, I would need a particular video to be played in the background while I am reading any other stuff. For example, I have opened a particular video here. Let me just play this up, and let me just refresh it for once. Why it's not coming? Yeah, let me just enable this particular extension. So this particular extension was installed via going to the Chrome Web Store, and just I searched it here, so a lot of options came. So one among them was that particular web extension. So right now that is not available in the web store because that has been banned by the Chrome web extension. I have just exported the source code of that because I had saved it there. So if you go here, details, and if you try to open it from the Chrome web store, it will give 404 because Google team has detected this to be a malicious extension, and hence they have removed it. So moving ahead. Yeah, just before going to the main topic, I would suggest, if you want to detect a particular web extension is safe or not, you can just probably, how to do, you can open it up and see what is the popularity and what is the stars and how many users have already installed. So if the user count is very less and the rating is also very less, so probably that can be malicious Chrome extensions. And you can also see the privacy practices of that particular extension. So let's just go back. Yeah, so what I have so what I need is, so while playing a particular video, since that picture in picture is there, so what this particular extension does is it minimizes the video. For example, if I click here and I try to play here, so the video will be kept on playing, and I can let me just pause it. The video will be keep on playing, and I can read other pages and all. So this is the exact feature of the particular extension. So if you see here, this ad block also. So right now I have enabled two extensions. That is the picture in picture, and next one is ad block. But let me just close this up, since I was just trying to explain what exactly was the original goal for that particular extension. I'll just close this. So this is already enabled. So one thing which I observed here is, usually when I search anything, so let me just try to, yeah, cool. So one day what happened is, while I was searching anything, the ad started to pop up. So if you can see carefully, this is an ad. You just see this. This is an ad. Similarly, the same ad has been copied below. So initially, what the thing was, so yeah, again the ad. So if I search anything world, again one ad has been injected in the top, and also at the bottom similar ads. And also if you observe, it will be loaded after a few seconds after the page load. Let me just do it again. So right now it is not there. Now it got injected. So initially my conclusion was Google able to bypass I mean any kind of ad blocking extensions. But later I was thinking like how it is possible. So then what I thought is I had a little understanding of malicious Chrome extensions. So I had an intuition that it could be because of a malicious Chrome extension. So I decided to investigate a little bit more on that. So now what I try to do is I disable this, or let it be there, this ad blocker. So this has been already enabled, this picture in picture. So now we need to see what exactly it is this, we need to investigate how this is coming up even though we have enabled this particular ad blocker. All right. So the best way to do or the easiest way to do or the newest way to do this is you can go here and use inspect element. So I have used inspect element here. Let me just hover over that particular, cool. So I hovered over that, and as you can see here from the source it is fetching value from search.yahoo.com and something. So I am 100% sure Google won't inject the search.yahoo.com beacon here. And also if you see here, like this is some kind of weird division ID. If I just click here, this looks very different. And if I try to close this also, it is like it will get reloaded again. See, the same ad would be in the top, ad at the bottom. So I was like very suspicious of this particular issue. Let me just again go here, and if you can see here, this is getting reference from youronlinesearches.com c.php on mouse down. So this is surely injected by one of the Chrome extensions. So now, what I try to do is I disabled and enabled each particular Chrome extensions one by one among them, and finally I concluded that this particular extensions which I installed was malicious. So now how we can see the source code of this particular extension? So for that we can note the ID here. ID is ek000. Let me just copy this, or let me just remember ek00. Now what we need to do is we need to get the source code of this particular thing. So for that particular thing we can use go to folder, and you need to type this particular thing, library application support / Google Chrome. Okay, let me just go ahead, extensions. Under extensions we need to see that particular thing ek00. So let me see ek00. Yeah, so this is the exact source code of this. So I have already loaded it up in the Sublime text. If you can see here, this is the source code of this particular Chrome extension, malicious Chrome extension. So if you can see here right now, the visibility is very clear. You can very easily see the JavaScript. But in the beginning this was not as such. This was in a very what to say, minified format. So for that I had to beautify it, and you can use this particular website to beautify this and just copy and paste it again back. Now before trying to reverse engineer the particular source code of that malicious Chrome extension, let me also just show you exactly how the network request is going on. So for that, let me first disable all other extensions so that all network request pertaining to other extensions remain hidden. Cool. So let me just, this is enabled by default. Okay. Let me just open inspect element factor. So now the network, let me just reload this. Cool. It is injected. So let me go back here. As you can see, a lot of web request has been gone through. Now let me just go to and put it as XHR request or script request and XHR request. XHR request T container. As I spoke earlier, youronlinesearches.com. This looks malicious because I don't know. Google will surely not fetch any details from this website. This is okay. Play Store. This is okay. This is also okay. This looks suspicious. The payload which we are giving is looking very suspicious. And what is the response which we are trying to get? The response, let me just copy it. I copied it, and let me just beautify it. Cool. What do we see here? Let us just ignore this CSS. So as you can see here, it is fetching the value from here and it is just injecting this here up to 50% off books. So you can see here up to 50% off books. So we are sure this has been injected here. Now another way to check this, the same thing, is using a proxy in between and checking the HTTP request. So for that I am using burp suite. Let me just enable this proxy here. Is it enabled? Yeah, it is enabled. Let me just delete everything else and just try to refresh it again. So let's just ignore all this get request. We need get request. Cool. As you can see here, internsh.com, this looks really suspicious because I have just searched in Google and I don't know why this came up here. Internsh. After that, your online search as Yahoo. This, it is returning some kind of beacon here. This looks, I'm not sure if this is YouTube or, let me just check what exactly it's trying to do. Okay, we can ignore this for now. Can we delete this? Yes. Here the suspicious thing is this looks a little bit suspicious because I don't know what exactly. This is very suspicious. Container.php. And this is giving out some values here. This particular thing. This looks suspicious. Let me again and again do some changes. It will get injected again. Okay, some other thing also came here. Floatplayer.com. Timestamp. Mixpanel. Some all these URLs have been injected. Having all this information in our hand is very helpful while we analyze the source code. So now let us move to the source code section. So this is the source code. Let me just close this up. Locales. I think this is just the language. We can ignore this particular folder. This is just the language. For example, if I open this, this is just language. Metadata, hash files and all. I think we can ignore it for now. Assets are the images. Manifest.json is the most important file in a Chrome web extension, which allows, so if you can see here background, so back in the background this particular script would be loaded, and this is all the content and frame. CSP policy, we can ignore all this. Now the main thing is we can see here background.js. So now let us close this up. What is content.js and script.js? Why it is in this particular format? Let me just beautify this. Copy, paste, save. So what exactly this is trying to do here? So if you see the particular Chrome web extension, its main aim was to minimize the video. So I'm sure in this particular Chrome, the source code, it would have that feature along with somewhere the malicious code would also be hidden. So here first we need to find what is the accepted functionality, which is to minimize the video and show it in a small way. The intended function of the particular extension, that we need to check where is exactly the source code for that. Let me see this async. What is it trying to do here? Leave picture. PIP is picture in picture, I guess. Let me just close this for now. Content.js. This is a constructor which has been initialized with this value. Mix panel. So here you can see again and again we are seeing mix panel somewhere here. A JavaScript is also going here. So what exactly is mix panel? If you see here also somewhere we saw mix panel. Mix panel. Let me just Google it. What exactly is mix panel? Yeah, I had already Googled it. So this is nothing but just an analytics tool. So probably those attackers are trying to get analytics of how many users have installed this particular malicious extension. So for that they have written that particular code here. Okay, so this explains a little bit of what exactly it is trying to do. So now most important file, background.js. Float player, you can see somewhere config URL is going to floatplayer.com API config. These things are getting added here. In the HTTP request also, proxy also, we saw that float player timestamp. Let me just copy this and search somewhere timestamp. Cool. So if you can see here, body is timestamp, encode URI component. All these have been ID, version, R, and UID has been encoded. B2A, I think. What is here? Let me just open it. I think this is base 64 encoded. Let me just decode as base 64. Yeah, as you can see here, this is base 64 encoded, ID, version, and R value. So first I need to check the intended functionality of this extension, which is to minimize. Where is the source code for that? This is mainframe. This looks a lot of gibberish. So please note, whenever a malicious extension, the attacker would try the max of his capability to hide the source code and make it gibberish, so that the developers or the reverse engineer people can't easily find the exact source code. Same happens for malwares also. They try to make it so gibberish and so complicated so that people will have a tough time to reverse engineer it. Cool. Document picture in picture, clicked, add listener. This is getting executed. Script.js. This looks like a Google Analytics tracker. So if we need to catch this particular attacker, we can even use this tracker and we can conclude like which Google account is having this particular thing, and we can trace the attacker also. Let me just go a little bit below. This looks a lot of gibberish. But where is the picture in picture? Script.js. What is script.js? Okay, as you can see here, the video selector. I think this is the source code for the intended functionality, which is to minimize the video. Yeah, we can see here the code is mentioning something regarding width, height, and all, and like this function is closing and it is opening that particular thing. So we came to know what is the intended functionality, or what is the right way of the feature that is here. This is the right way for which the extension was built. So now we have this information. Now we can easily, we can now just exclude this, and now we can try to read the source code and try to see which is the malicious code. Where is the malicious code? You can see here this would be a malicious code here somewhere, this constructor, because in the HTTP request also we could see this here. Init storage, UID, init BG processor. This looks like it is trying to instantiate a background processor which will give an XHR request. Let me just look it carefully here. So if you see here XML HTTP request, this will give an HTTP request, so that is equal to an XHR. So when I saw here the dev tools also, we could see the XHR request. Let me just this is the good one. I mean, this is the intended functionality, the right code. This is not the malicious code, but the above ones. This entire thing is malicious code. So like I am kind of sure that this is the malicious code. So this is a constructor. These are the listener files here in the init storage function. So chrome.storage.local, it is trying to store all these values probably in the cookie here. You generate the UID, update config. So as I told, XHR request is getting processed here. XML HTTP request, this one. Let me just go a little bit below. This is the good one. We can ignore this. But this looks suspicious. Request BG, this one. Starting from here, this looks really suspicious. This entire source code, what it's trying to do is the attacker has made it very, gibberish, so that it is hard to know exactly what is happening actually. So when this is processed, you can see here a lot of regex and random functions have been utilized here, and lot of regex is also utilized here, and replace all these things. So eventually what it is trying to do is somehow it will generate the malicious URL, and it will send a GET request to that particular URL. So you can see, just send RDR log. RDR is probably redirect log. What else is redirect URL? This would be probably redirecting to the malicious URL. This is probably a logger function. So you can see here a lot of regex functionality is used here, which I'm personally not very expert at. So I'm not just delving deeper into that. So in this particular video, my main intention was just to show a beginner level showcasing of what exactly is a malicious Chrome extension, and how you can at least have a little bit idea of how to prevent it from installing it. You can either use Wireshark to see the request, network request, or you can see here. You can also go to the source section and see, like for example, for that we have content.js. Content.js looks clean, I guess. Let me just, do we have content.js here? Yes. This looks okay. This is probably only for analytics, but the malicious code is here. Starting from here, it would end somewhere here. Filter request. So this particular thing is getting stored here, the malicious thing, and what it is trying to do is it will just inject it itself in the background here. Now the only way to get disable it is you can just go to the extensions, you can remove it, disable it. So now next time when you refresh it, the ads won't be injected. You can see here no ads have been injected in the top and at the bottom. So I hope this gave a little bit understanding of what is malicious Chrome extension, and how you can see the source code and get a little bit idea of how to confirm if that particular extension is malicious or not. So thanks guys, see you in the next video.